Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 29 of the Grupetto. On my side here, as ever, we've got Jesper Anker.
Hello.
And all the way over there, Tim Fulford.
Hola.
And on this side, we've got the hitter that is Cameron Jeffers.
He's managed to do his hair quickly, isn't he?
Yeah. How are we, boys? All right?
All good. Yeah, good, man.
Getting there.
Before we start, Tim, can you just enlighten everybody to what you got up to last night?
I cycled to the top of Rhino's Pass, slept under a rock, and cycled back this morning. You know, as you do.
That's a thing. I didn't realize that this cycle is it. What is it? Cycle
bike packing. You think it's called
bike packing.
Yeah, different.
That sounds like.
Tell you what, it's cold on the top of Rhinos this morning.
I mean, you didn't. I could have told you that. You didn't have to go all the way up there to experience it. I could have told you that it was going to be cold up there, mate.
Yeah, I also took the wrong bike, so it was quite steep as well. But it was all right. Got back.
Idiot. And Cameron, whereabouts are you in the world in the minute?
Where am I? I'm in Aberdeen. Aberdeen, yeah.
You're in Aberdeen
yesterday,
for the Tour Series.
For the Tour Series, yeah. So yesterday we were in Motherwell, or 2 days ago the race was in Motherwell. Yesterday we woke up in Motherwell, and then we drove like 3/4 of the way to Aberdeen, and then rode the last 60k. And like they are literally some of the nicest roads I've ever ridden on, like in the entire world. I mean, it did help the fact that it was sunny, the weather was nice, but in terms of like the actual roads and the scenery and stuff, it was incredible.
It is very good
Tim,
up there.
I recommend you come and do some bikepacking up here, mate.
Is that Cam inviting you to go bikepacking?
So I just stay with them.
What's that, Jesp?
Is that Cameron inviting Tim to go bikepacking? Do you want to go bikepacking together, guys?
Yeah.
The bicycle version of Brokeback Mountain.
Don't get jealous, you two.
Me and Jesper can go on our own. I'm not jealous.
So we'll just find a nice hotel somewhere, just chill out, enjoy a spa,
Whoa.
jacuzzi.
And then we'll go to bed.
We don't want to know.
So, in terms of this episode, what I want to talk about is Cameron Jeffers. Basically, I wanted this to be a bit of the Cameron Jeffers show. Yeah, solely because you've done a lot of racing recently, and it'd be good to catch up on the experience of Lincoln, of actually finishing a big race like that, and then the Tour Series as well. So, let's go back to Redditch. I know you've discussed all this in your vlogs, but it'd be good.
Do we have to go back to Redditch?
Well, unfortunately, yes, because that's where it all started. Redditch was the first round of the Tour Series. It pissed it down by the looks of it.
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, so it was the first round of the Tour Series, and it's the first round of the Tour Series that I've ever done. And like the thing with the Tour, oh god, that's a bit scary. Isn't it?
I've still got the buttons from the quiz.
It's like it's a series of 1 hour crits around the country, but you've got that. There's an extra incentive for the riders because it's broadcasted. It's not live, but it's broadcasted on ITV, like mass mainstream media. So in terms of sponsorships and in terms of getting your name on the map and becoming a known rider and stuff, it's probably one of the biggest series in the country.
Cam, can I just stop you there? You do realise your vlog probably has more views than the ITV coverage, right?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well, we won't get into that, but yeah. So Redditch round 1, and it was basically just a bit of a baptism of fire. I mean, the weather was pretty horrendous. I started pretty well. I was positioned well, and these races. It's the first 20 minutes. It's like for both. So I've done two crits now. Aberdeen, Motherwell a couple of nights ago, and then obviously Redditch. And for the first 20 minutes, my normalized power is like over 400 watts. It's just insane. And then it settles down because you can't physically go that hard for an hour. But I'm finding it's more of a psychological thing to get through that first 20 minutes and just telling yourself like, right, once you get to 20 minutes, it's gonna ease off. Like you can't keep this pace up. But then you have the whole kind of technical side of things that come into it with the course is so far I've been much more technical than like your average crit course, because you're weaving in and out of traffic islands around a city centre. You've got a cobbled climb, then you've got a hairpin descent, and it's like bike handling skills come into it as well, you know.
Why? Yeah, wait till Durham, boy. That's gonna suck. Why is that first 20 minutes so hard? Is it because people are trying to get away, or is it like a Zwift race where just one person goes hard, so everyone else feels like they have to go hard? When really, if someone went, "Hey lads, let's all take it easy for a bit," and then we will.
A bit of both, because you've always got the guys that want to get away in the first 20 minutes, and then you've got the bigger teams. You know, this series has been Canyon and Madison, that they just want to break the group up as quickly as possible, and make, you know, if there's less riders in the group, then it'll kind of be easier for those guys. So yeah, I think they ride as fucking hard, just because to get rid of as many people as possible, to whittle the group down. Yeah. Chris has just disappeared off the camera.
Where's Chris gone? Chris is on the phone right now. What?
This is people say we don't take this podcast seriously and it's not professional, and then Chris goes and pulls stunts like that. I just apologize to everyone watching. You know, I've paid £5 for Premier Inn Ultimate Wi-Fi this morning to make this podcast happen. So
well, it just goes to show that this podcast cannot survive without me. that no one else could think of a question to ask while I disappeared. Sorry. We've got the carpet fitter coming. So Amanda phoned and she was like, "Carpet fitter's coming." So I need to go and unlock the door for him. Anything else, boys? Is that it? Are we done?
Check that out. Modern life getting in the way. Just life getting in the way, in fact.
I know. So yeah. What did he say?
Christ's sake.
I heard him whinging about Premier Inn internet. Sorry, Cam. Put that through.
Yeah, I've had to. I think this is the first time I've ever paid for Wi-Fi in my whole entire life. I paid £5 for 24 hours of Virgin fiber optic broadband.
So that's why the internet's so good then.
Well, it's better now. I mean, last night it was horrendous. We're up in Scotland. We're in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, the ultimate Wi-Fi is pulling through, and we're making this happen.
All right. Well, we can cut this. We can, as soon as we're not live, I can edit this bit out where I've run off and opened the door for the man.
No, you cannot, because I'm the one editing this, so this is staying in.
Okay, that's cool. Guys, talk amongst yourselves.
Go on, bike. Go on, Chris. You scuttle off.
You talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to open the door. Fine.
Boys, you need to have a serious word with him. You know, he's an employee of CyclingHub. This is ridiculous.
Oh God.
So Chris, tell me about your bike packing. What Chris? What was the motivation?
Chris.
Tim.
He may have done his hair, but he's not quite there yet.
What was that? Sorry, Cam?
What was your motivation behind it?
The weather was really nice, and I've got all the kit, so I thought I'd just go and do it.
Yeah. So talk me through what was in your bag.
10. Sleeping bag.
2 sleeping bags.
Extra pair of kit. Gloves, overshoes. That's it. All on my bike.
What about food? What did you do for food?
I left after dinner last night.
Yeah.
And then I woke up this morning and had a honey sandwich and a Nutella sandwich and an iced latte, which I'd had in my bag. And that's it. Simples.
How far was each way?
From my house to Rhino's is 50k, and then without coming back the same way, back through Coniston, it's 60k back.
Okay.
So it was like 2 hours out there and then 2 hours back.
So, in terms of bike packing, that's I'd say that's a fairly short backpack. Is this in preparation for anything longer?
Just waiting for you to tell me what we're going to do, Cam.
Yeah, mate. I'm keen to do some, especially at the end of the season. I'm keen to do some sort of mad stuff. I've got a few ideas in my head.
It was pretty. Like the view from the top of Rhinos at sunrise this morning was pretty epic.
Yeah.
Getting up Rhinos last night in the dark wasn't fun.
No one was there on your own.
On a 39.28. But we're done now, Chris.
No.
All you missed, Chris, was Tim eating very loudly into the microphone, and then Cam and Tim. Oh, you got again! Anyone listening to the audio podcast of this is going, what the hell is going on today, guys? So unprofessional. This is not what I subscribed for.
Chris is a carpet fitter in his house currently. Anyway, let's talk about Aberdeen Tour Series, round number 3.
Yeah.
We have...
It's a fun course.
No, so apparently it's a completely new course this year. They've completely changed the course. So,
where's
that's
it now?
the thing. I'm not sure. They unveiled it last night. So we'll get a look at that this afternoon. But for us tonight, we have Steve is in the leader's jersey. So not the leader's jersey. He's in the sprint leader's jersey. So I think we've that's going to be the first primary objective for us. Matt also got 4th in Motherwell last night, a couple of nights ago. So he's certainly going well. So I think we've got a chance to do something at these races.
What's your objective?
Welcome back.
Thanks. What's your objective?
For these kind of races, until you get like late on in, like half an hour in, 35-40 minutes in, there's unless you're covering moves, there's not a lot you can do to help your teammates. Like you're either in position or you're not. So I think for the first 20 minutes, it's kind of every man for themselves, just making that front split, and then once you're in that front split and once settled down a bit, then you can start to organize yourself as a team. But I think our objective is, first off, defend Steve's sprints jersey.
Yeah, he did well to get in that.
Yeah, so
it's still got
apparently. So he was joint. I believe he was joint first with Connor. Oh no, maybe he was a couple of points behind Connor Swift after round 1. I think Steve got the first sprints competition and he got 2nd, and then Connor got the final 2. So he's a little bit behind, but then by default, Connor has now, because he's moved teams to a team that I can't pronounce, he has forfeited that jersey in default, and Steve's now in it by default. Then round 2 in Motherwell, Steve got the first intermediate sprints, which was, so in these races, the intermediate sprints is every 15 minutes, so 15, 30, 45, and then 60 on the line. So he got the first one after 15 minutes, and then the lap before the second sprints competition is when the crash happened. So 3 of us got stuck behind it. So luckily we had Matt, who was in the front group, and he then got the points ahead of Tom Moses, who was in 2nd in the sprints competition. So he took the points away from Madison, and then in the end, Steve's luckily still in the jersey. So hopefully we can extend that tonight.
And can we talk about the fact that you're using a camera?
Yeah.
Good. What? How? Why? So if people haven't seen Cam's vlogs, and mine from a couple of years ago, I've been in trouble with it in the past. You've been in trouble with it in the past. Using a camera in a BC sanctioned event. Well, I'm sure they've called you out on it, haven't they? Have they not?
It's not a BC sanctioned event, so it doesn't matter.
Well, this is what I'm getting at. Let's get to that point. The fact that you're allowed to use it.
it's organised by I think it's overrun by BC, but I think the organisers are Sweet Spot, which is a separate organisation which hosts the Tour of Britain, and I think they've seen the commercial value of what onboard cameras bring to bike races, and it sounds like they're embracing it, and I commend them for that. I thank them for that, because it allows me to bring such different insight to my viewers, from in the bunch, and you get a real sort of hands-on, especially when you're going down the start finish line and you see all the people at the side and how fast those people are going past you. Then you realize that how fast these races are, and you can't really do that just on the side with the camera.
Exactly. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you think BC will get to the point where they see that and they go, oh, actually, yeah, we should let people do it? Like, what's the main reason that they're not letting people do it? Commercial value or safety?
I think it's a bit of both. I think they're worried that cameras. I think they're worried that cameras are gonna fall off bikes, and I also think they're worried that cameras are gonna influence races. I don't know. Maybe if you've got a camera on your bike, you're gonna be more dangerous, more reckless, and I'm sure there is some sort of commercial issues there as well. But no, I hope that they do, and I think in time that they will. Every other organization that I've ridden in the world, I've raced in France, I've raced in Belgium, and all those 3 countries all allow cameras, as does America, as does Australia, and I know more about the Australian crit scene than any other country, but just through watching Cycling Maven's onboard videos. So I think there is huge value to British cycling, but I think it will take time. And what I would like to see is, if they're worried about safety, if they're worried about all that kind of stuff, just you have to do a little bit of a qualification or certification to enable you to use the cameras. So maybe you have to prove that you can, you're able to use it and you know how to attach to your bike, and you get a little, dispensation thing that allows it or something.
Tim?
Yep.
What's your view on it?
I think BC want it because you have potential massive issues around if it records something that turns out to be a crash or turns out to be libelous or something like that. Then you prove it with that footage, and you get yourself into a whole load of problems with what BC would.
Yeah, I guess.
Lawsuits up the yin yang, I think.
But
look, I crashed because this guy did this. Look, here's the video evidence. Now please pay out.
Oh, right. Do we not as well, not me personally, but when I start racing again, do we not as racers sign up to the fact that if we crash, even if it's somebody else's fault, that's part and parcel of the game, though?
Depends
do we
on
have a leg to
which license you have? If you get the ultra gold, whatever it is, I think you're entitled to compensation regardless of whose fault it is. But also imagine the manpower that would be required if everybody could send in footage of their crashes. You could literally just say, this guy crashed me, BC pay me, or whatever, get this guy to pay me. Like, the fees would be through the roof.
Think part of signing up to be a BC member, you kind of sign away all those rights if you're wanting to use that footage,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't give a fuck if I crash. If someone takes me out, it's good content, isn't it? Like, I'm never wanting to use it in vain or use it against someone. It's bike racing. It's what you sign up for.
That's easy to say now, but then the moment comes and your career ends because this guy made a stupid mistake. I don't think you'll sing the same tune.
Yeah, I think I would because it was my choice to be in the bike race in the first place.
But let's say it happens in the Tour Series. God forbid it never happens, but let's say it happened in the Tour Series and they catch it on a camera anyway. What then?
Yeah, exactly. Some bloody TV.
Right, let's see. I have the highlights from Motherwell. Let's see if they included the crash.
I think the pros outweigh the cons with it. Like the amount of exposure that a Preston race, take Preston Crit for instance. I've never heard of the Preston Crit until Cam went and raced there.
Yeah, and so last week I did it a couple of weeks ago, and there was 3 or 4 different people that came up to me from the 3-4 race and said that they are now here racing at Preston every week after watching my videos from last year, racing myself at Preston. So,
I think it can only do more good than bad. I'm sure you'll get one bad story behind every 20 or 30 good stories you get out of actually having a camera.
You should have a discount code when you go to Preston. Say the name Cameron Jefferson, get 10% off your entry fee.
I think you might be right. And what about can we touch on Vic, please? Can we touch Vic?
He's not here, but you can.
Because he's not here, but he completed the Fred Whitton. Tim, when you did it, I know you only did it on half an hour of training. You did half an hour of training prior to it. Was that it?
2.5, I think.
Sorry, 2.5 hours. And how long did it take you to do it?
6 minutes and 35 seconds.
Wow. So he beat you by 11 minutes. So he did it in 6 hours. He did it 6 hours 24.
I did it 6 hours 35. He did it in 6 hours 25.
Fudge that's mental. That. So for people that don't know, Fred Whitton is a sportive up in the lakes. 114 miles. How many meters of climbing is it?
A lot.
3,950.
Holy moly!
Most of it over 10% as well.
Yeah, props to Tim for doing that on half an hour of training and one soaring, and then Vic for beating that time with proper training. That's pretty impressive. That. How was it, boys, up there? Because you were up there. Did he look like he was enjoying it?
I'll share the video at some point with us walking up past with Vic as he goes up Hard Knot and he's trying to take his gilet off, and then he has like a Victor tantrum that he can't get his gilet off. So I offered to help him, and he's like, "No, I don't want any help." I was like, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah.
Taking his gilet off up a 30% climb nearly.
Yeah.
After 100 miles.
And then Jesper offered him some gels. And no, I've got them. Right.
After he specifically told me the day prior, Jesper, you need to give me these gels on Hard Knot. It's very important. You give me a beat on and these gels. So I'm like, here's the beat on. He's like, thank you. Here are the gels. No.
Victor ran a huge risk though. So the weather on Sunday was quite nice. Mm-hmm. I think it got to, I don't know, 18, 19 degrees. He did the whole race on a litre and a half of water. Or not race, he did the whole sportif on a litre and a half of water.
Really?
Didn't stop at either rest stop. Only had 2 500 milliliter bidons, and then we gave him another one on Hard Knot.
That's mental.
So he could have imploded big style.
Imagine that. Jesus Christ.
Hey, everyone,
look at Cam. Cam was clearly texting there. Did you see him? For people not watching this, if you go on my channel, you just look at Cam and he's zoned out.
You can't blame him while Cam was talking about.
I've got a question.
No, I enjoyed Tim's.
I've got a question. What's the fastest time?
This year, I don't know. Last year it was 5:56.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's that? What? Like, who are they? Are they professional riders or?
Yeah, it was a guy. I think he was pretty professional. He absolutely hammered it. He started late and then just had someone to chase for every single climb, and he came flying past me with about a mile to go.
Oh my God! And at one point you were fourth on the row when you did it, weren't you? Someone shouted at you.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, even though they're only sportives and they don't count for anything.
Did you know? I got the stats last night from a friend of mine. He's like, did you know that only 10% of everyone that finished the Fred is female? Like, 90% all men.
Well, let's not get into that old gender argument, eh?
It's not an argument. It was just showing.
To end on, isn't it?
I know. We'll leave you with that, listeners of the Grupetto.
If you go back to the last 3 podcasts, every time I try to bring up like a valid discussion that we used to discuss in the first 5 episodes, now Cam and Chris are going like, we've learned, we're staying away.
Do not touch. Yeah, surely that's only because men are entering it, because there's not as many women entering it, right?
Yeah, but it's still an interesting snippet that only Like out of 2,500, only 250 are actually females. That shows the scales in cycling.
And about 50% of them walk up hard knot.
Both men and women.
All of them. All of them.
Oh yeah.
Only women.
If you want to laugh, just go and stand on the second half of hard knot for the Fred Whitton week, Fred Whitton Sunday.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see how many female. It might be interesting to see how many females entered yet last year as opposed to this year. You know, if it's double what it was last year, then it's going in the right direction.
Exactly. Let's have a female only Fred Whitton. We'll call it Fredrina Whitton. I can't. Francis Whitton. We'll call it the Francis Whitton Challenge. Female.
Do you think because everyone calls it the toughest sportif, less women sign up?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Probably.
Like,
I mean, probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
the amount of practice, the amount of training required to do that thing, you have to have a lot of time on your hands.
And you have to find big climbs like those. So I bet a lot of people come up to the lakes to practice.
Or not. You know that James Bird guy, the guy that's watched you and Cam race here in the office? He did at the same time he got in on a reserve ticket. He was within like touching distance of Vic for the first 2 hours maybe, like 5 minutes between them. Then the last was how many kilometers, Tim? But through the last half he lost 2 hours on Victor.
In the last half. Wow.
So.
He should have watched my guide to sportives then, shouldn't he?
It's got a massive sting in the tail. You get over Honister and you think you've got like it's a nice false sense of security, and then you do another 30 miles, and then at the 100-mile mark, so 160k in, they send you up hard knot, and then straight down a sketchy descent and straight up rhinos. So, Chris, you're going to come and do it one day, aren't you?
Next year.
Nope.
Right, boys, I said on that bombshell because I need to go and get breakfast. I've already trained and I'm flipping hungry.
Well, this is my podcast and we're extending it for another hour.
Without me.
Oh, everyone! If you're just listening to on SoundCloud, Cameron has well and truly flipped. He's hangry. Look at that face. He is so annoyed. Right, let's go and let Cam get some breakfast. Otherwise, he'll be using this as the excuse as to why he got dropped tonight in the crit. So I don't want that on my hands. He's not. He's going to finish. Right, predictions tonight. Quick, before he goes, predictions for tonight. Where's Cam going to finish?
Top 10.
I don't know the course, but 17th.
Ooh, okay, I'm going for 11th. No, 12th.
Can I call the winner?
Steve Lambs.
Go on then.
Matt Noel.
Oh.
You think Matt will win it?
Is that because he's in the room with you?
Yeah. Go, Matt. Is he waiting for you to go to breakfast as well? Is he like, hurry the fuck up, Cam?
No, he's been and had his breakfast.
He's had his feed.
Yeah. He's definitely going to win now then. All right, let's wrap this Grupetto podcast up. We didn't touch on half of the subjects I wanted to, but hey, whatever. As ever, Tim Fulford, thanks for your input.
Cheers.
Jesper.
Hello. Yes, got him.
And Cameron Jeffers.
Peace.
Pube hair.